Hey guys, yo, it really is innocent until proven guilty because it's a mess and we finally get someone back just to possibly lose him. This is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 5, Episode 7. Some will say Season 2, Episode 7, some will say Season 3, Episode 7, but the wages of sin. And it starts off again with Steven doing what Steven does best. Well, what Steven attempts to do best, interrogation. He's trying to interrogate Brad, and Brad is over it. That's when we see Brad say, yeah, I did kill him, I did do it. And he was like, oh, so you did? Brad's like, no. And then Brad was like, yes. It's like, is it yes or is it no? I'm thinking, wait, Brad, what are you, wait, what? Why would you even? But no, Brad's trying to say, as a soldier, he has killed, of course, women and children before. So he's not talking about, his wife's child. He's talking about the fact that he has killed children before overseas while in war. And Steven's like, hello? This is not M equals MC square. I need to know, did you kill this baby? He's like, no. Did you kill Randall? No. You sure? Yes. Are you sure you're sure? Yes. Are you sure you're sure you're sure? Yes. Are you sure you're sure you're sure you're sure? It's like, at this point, I don't want to talk to you anymore. You see that camera right there, and you. I did not kill either of them. Heck, I don't even know if they're dead or not. Why do we keep acting like they're dead, but we know that they're dead? You guys said that they're missing. So it is what it is. I'm not talking to you anymore until I see a lawyer. Until I see a lawyer. It's like, interesting. So did you kill him or did you hurt him because of the fact that, he is a black man, the black man took your wife? It's like, excuse me? But what does that have to do with anything? He's black. That's a fact. So is the baby. And we understand what they're trying to do. It's like, Lord, if we can pin not only murder, but it being a hate crime, oh my gosh, it'll be popping up in here. And that's the messed up way to think about it, but that's what Steven's angle's trying to be, maybe the race thing, because that really offended Brad. So maybe if we keep going and pushing there, so Steven leaves because Brad asks for a lawyer, and Steven tells, the black police officer there that was talking to Eddie before, maybe you just go in there, because he asked for a lawyer, we can't at this point go and speak to him anymore until his lawyer comes. But what if you just go there and stand right next to him? Don't touch him, of course, don't talk to him. Just go and stand right next to him. It's like, oh, you're trying to pin the racist thing. Okay, got it. I'm thinking, what? Trying to pin the racist thing? And you're a part... Jesus. Marcy is having second thoughts. Marcy, lets it be known that, yeah, while she's in the bathroom, she talked to Brad, and now she's starting to think, maybe she overreacted. Maybe Brad really didn't do anything. Not maybe, actually, factually, Brad didn't do anything, and she overreacted, and because of that, now Brad can be prosecuted. And, Esperanza was like, let me go down to the police precinct so that I can figure this out. Kelly's thinking, look, maybe you're overreacting, Marcy. All of this has been really stressful. And this is where Kelly talks about how, her mother has a saying of, the price of sin is death, or something like that. And Marcy's just like, oh my gosh, Kelly, so you're trying to say because of Randall's sin and all of that, he had to die? And it's like, no. Well, no, that's what Marcy was saying. Esperanza was like, Kelly, what's wrong with you? I'm thinking, Kelly, what's wrong with you? Because I'm actually agreeing with Marcy's train of thought this whole time, which is messing with me because I don't want to agree with Marcy, because aside from looking at her, I don't like what normally comes out of her mouth or her actions. Well, yeah, the thing is that Kelly's just trying to say, it's basically karma. What you put out is what you get back. So because of what Randall and Alex did, now we have to worry about the fallout being all of them being in trouble, all of them having to go through it. And, Kelly was like, we all need to take a little bit of responsibility. I'm thinking, Kelly, not right now. I can't do this with you right now. I can't do this with you right now. She was saying, no. Again, think about it. We all played a part in this. We all got caught up, being the back and forth. Me and Esperanza, we didn't have your back the way that we should have. Well, no, she didn't say outright like that, but she did partially admit that her and Esperanza really didn't have her back the way they did, and, you know, choosing sides and trying not to choose sides, but chose sides anyway. I was like, okay, finally we're getting some of the real, some of the truth out of you regarding that, because that was some BS what you guys did, basically choosing Alex's side over Marcy's, even though you didn't flat out say that. But Marcy's just like, let me go down to the station because right now I can't find out. And you're saying that you're not sure anymore, and that's dangerous because if you go and keep spelling that off, then they're going to think, oh no, how can you possibly know that? Because do you know who did it? No, I don't know. And Marcy's just like, I see where you're going with this. I actually agree with you. So I'm going to go and leave because Kelly's going to know my nerves. Because Kelly's thinking, oh no, it had to be him. I'm like, Kelly, you don't know it to be him. So, and she's like, we have to tell the police if that's the case. I'm thinking, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know if it's true or not. And what Marcy said is correct. All you're going to do is implicate yourself and implicate them as well. Because you're going to say Alex had a part to play in it, which means that Alex could go to jail. They need someone to pin. They need someone to blame. So they would happily send arrest Alex if they're thinking, oh, she played a part in this, which she did. Which she did through way of her parents. So Marcy's like, I'm going to go out, but Kelly, can you walk me out? So it's like, sure. I'm thinking, okay, so what is she going to say? Not Marcy. Esperanza said, I'm leaving, so Kelly, can you walk me out? Because Marcy was trying to leave to go down to the station, and Esperanza said, no, let me go down instead. I'm thinking, yes, why don't you go and leave? When Essie goes and Kelly follows, that's when Esperanza lets Kelly know that finally what she heard on the phone from talking to Alex, this is when it finally comes up, because we almost forgot about it. Like, oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it? And now I talked to Alex, and Alex was going to her parents. Do you know where her parents live? No. Because I'm thinking maybe her parents were involved. So it's like, what? It's like, yeah, remember, they're racist. They're racist and they're bigoted. So the fact that Alex, you know, she slept with a black man and had a baby by a black man, they're not going to be happy about that. Of course, Alex wouldn't call for them to do something to her son, but if she called to have them take care of Randall because Randall was trying to sue and get custody and also call Alex unfit and their home unsafe, if Alex was desperate enough, she would happily call her parents, and then her parents, being who they are, come and handle Randall. I'm not saying that he's dead, I'm just saying that they definitely played a part in this, hypothetically. And then Kelly's like, okay, then go to the police. He's like, no, see what I'm doing right now? I don't have proof. And so what they're going to do is they're going to go and implicate us partially, and they'll happily go once they find Alex and take her off to jail because they just need someone to blame. That's how this game actually works. Proof is cute, but the reality is if they can say, oh, well, our proof is you definitely tried to get someone else involved. All right, you go. You get picked off. They get picked off as well. And so the case of them trying to find the kid, that becomes less important. What becomes more important is them having someone to blame. So I'm not going to do that, Kelly. But I will go down to the station and see what I can get information on. Because I really don't think Brad did it either. You know, I think we're all just jumping the gun. I'm thinking, why is Esperanza making the most sense right now? That is scary. Up until she goes and talks to Eddie. Because Eddie came back. Eddie came back and Eddie was just like, okay, so what are you and your guy about talking about? And that's when Esperanza slips. I'm thinking, Esperanza, you're telling the wrong person this information. She's like, you know, do you know where Alex's parents live? You know where Rusty and them live? It is what it is. You know, go to Hillbilly, turn right on Hillbilly, make a left on Hillbilly. It's just like, you're the worst. There's a baby in danger and you're still acting like this. She's like, well, why don't you tell me what's going on so I can help? Okay. I think that Brad didn't do it. I think, well, she didn't say that, but she said, I think Alex called her parents. And you know that her parents are racist and bigoted. It's like, what? I know, you know, he doesn't have that many black friends. But he was like, oh, so you're basically trying to implicate Alex's parents and Alex by saying that she possibly called her parents or brought her parents into the situation. Did that crystal ball in between your legs tell you that? I'm thinking, Eddie. And She's just like, you're the worst. It's like, yeah, you already knew that our humanity left in you, but I was wrong. I was wrong, and because I was wrong, now I have to deal with the fallout of that. The fallout of that is you won't leave, you won't go, you won't let me out. You're just the worst. You're scums. It's like, oh, you love this. It's like, wait a minute. So you're trying to go and say because of what Alex did, you know, she's a harlot, she's a that, she's a not only a homewrecker, she's a heathen. Well, then what are you? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, Esperanza, what are you? Because Eddie got you. Eddie's good with a clapback. Because Eddie said, you were my side chick. You were the side piece. You were the one breaking up my so-called happy home. Just like, yeah, I know, and I'm paying for it. Trust. This right here, I'm paying for it. You reap what you sow is real. It is real. And she goes over there to Kelly, and it's just like, you know, Kelly, do you know where Alex's parents may be? It's like, no, I don't know. She never had that type of conversation with me. Because Eddie's not telling me. It's like, Eddie, what is wrong with you? It's just like, oh, ladies, what are you talking about over there? You're talking about, oh, Rusty and them taking the baby? Is that what you're talking about? It's like, why won't you go and help us out? Because you're trying to go and say that my family is involved with this, so why would I go and help you? Why don't you go and worry about the fact that you keep running? He was telling this to Kelly. Why don't you go and worry about the fact that your man ran off to Utah? A black man ran off to Utah to get away from you. Do you know how bad it must be? Whatever it is in between your legs, how bad it must be. It's like, you need to get him, because I'm done. You need to get him. It's like, oh, why don't you go hug it out? That look good. Yeah, menage a trois. Again, I hate you, Eddie. I'm laughing, but it's like a Donald Trump laugh. Like, I don't like you. I'm laughing at you, I'm not laughing with you. And so Esperanza goes and leaves, or she goes and walks off so that Eddie can finally go. And, because I thought Eddie was blocking her or whatever, but her car wasn't there. This is, sometimes the lines don't make sense. Or at least the way how I interpret them. Either way, it's foolishness. Please like, comment, subscribe, by the way, if you haven't done so. And Alex, she finally gets to the drop-off point where the guy can't take her anymore. He's like, you know, I feel really bad. And I'm thinking, yeah, you should, because you're dropping off this woman, this attractive woman, regardless of what we personally think about her, this attractive woman in this dress, in this area. But, you know, it was probably one of those places where he was going in the opposite direction at that point, so she had to get out. Well, you know, he said he felt bad. He's like, maybe I can call someone to come and help you. I'm thinking, oh, that's nice. You're thinking of that now? But then again, that's the Lord. That's the Lord. Because you know that you're okay, but maybe the person you're calling isn't. So that's why you didn't do it in the first place. She's like, no, it's great. I'll walk. I'm thinking, okay, she's going the opposite direction, just like what I thought. Pete finally wakes up, and the nurse, you know, not Andrew's girlfriend, but this other nurse comes in. Pete is looking over there like, okay, who is that? It's like, it's FBI detail. You're good, you're covered. It's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And he's starting to freak out because, you know, she goes and gives him a sedative. He's asleep. And, well, yeah, she gets him to sleep. While he's resting, he has flashbacks. He remembers everything. He remembers Ben's involvement. He remembers the fact that he got gunned down by 3 people. He remembers it was a setup. He remembers all of it. So he calls the nurse again. But then he also, in the midst of that, he remembers everything to the point of, he remembers Lucian's number, calls up Lushion, and tells him, Lushion. And it's like, it's Pete. It's like, what? Yeah, it's Pete. Yeah, I remember everything. It's like, okay, start from the beginning. Well, you know, I know Eddie set me up. You know, I know he set me up by way of Ben. And I got sent down to the south side on a bike and got gunned down. And it's like, I remember all of it. And it's like, what about the tape, though? What about the tape? Yes, I remember the tape. Yeah, I gave it to Natalie. And did you give it to anyone else? Yeah, there was another copy. Another copy. I gave it to the chief. You know, I gave it to the chief. And then that's when I got reassigned to the south side. And just like, oh, yeah. So, like, all of it. But this FBI detail, I didn't call you about any of that. So it's like, yeah, but this is good information. But So why'd you call me? Because there's this guy outside. It's like, yeah, that guy's FBI. FBI? You know, it might be Eddie's payroll. You have to come. You have to help me. It's like, no, you're good. Someone assigned him specifically to protect you, and it wasn't on Eddie's payroll. It wasn't on Eddie's payroll. It's like, yeah, you're good. It's FBI. It's like, how do you know that? Da-da-da! I'm like, wow, Pete is really back. He's already asking the right questions, cognizant. You know, he's worried about the right things, and Lushion just lets it be known, it's okay. It's okay. What you have to do is just stay there and rest. I'm going to go and figure this out. You know, right now, I have some other stuff going on. I'm thinking, I respect Lushion so much by being by Natalie's side. But Lushion, you should know already how this system works. You can't put too much trust in any of that. But shout out to Pete being awake, being cognizant, being fully aware of how bad his situation is, how his so-called friend Ben's the snake, how Eddie's the worst and is trying to kill him. Because on the tape, he remembers the fact that Eddie shot off Ben's hand. Oh, Lord, sometimes these nurses need to listen to what these patients are trying to say, because poor old Pete's now sedated and vulnerable. And Lushion, he goes back and talks to Natalie. Natalie's like, you know, every time you go away, I know it's work-related, why don't you go and, why don't you just go? It's like, no, I'm here for you. And I appreciate that whole sentiment, but Lushion, he did drop the ball in one area. He should have left, period, and when he did was the wrong time. Well, actually, it was the right time for Natalie, potentially the wrong time for Pete, because now Pete, like I said, the nurse came back to give him something so that he could actually go to sleep, and he's going in and out. He's going in and out, and he's freaking out because at first I was thinking, okay, maybe he's thinking, oh no, if I go to sleep, I'm not going to remember anything. I thought they were possibly going to go that angle because that'd be ridiculous if that happened. But no, it was for another reason. So Natalie's like, the pain medication's wearing off. She doesn't want another one. She sees the doctor talking to a family, and clearly they got bad news for their loved one, and they're over it. And the doctor's already shook from that. Now he has to talk to Natalie and tell her that, yeah, so Joey may not make it through the night. He'll potentially be on the mends if he makes it through the night. He has a 1 in 12 chance of 1 in 12 chance of living, because of the fact that when the bullet hit him, it shattered his rib cage, and the fragments of that actually hit his heart. Jeez, his internal organs, just more than his heart, everything. And the problem's that, the thing, aside from the internal organs being compromised, you also need to know that when something happens to your rib cage and your spine basically hold everything else together. That's the truth of the matter. So Joey, because of his rib cage being, you know, blah, 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 what this actually means is that even if he makes it through, he'll be paralyzed. He won't be able to do much. And so that's the other way that they can take his storyline, aside from him just dying and it, you know, causing everything else to spiral out of control. Natalie is over because she's like, so is there any hope? Lucian's like, is there any hope? Natalie wants the truth. Natalie does not want it sugar-coated. You know, Natalie's used to hard knock life. So she just needs to know, is there a chance, is there not a chance? You know, I would say, you know, really by the grace of God, if you're a praying type of family, then pray, because he does need it regardless. And the doctor, you know, spins it because he was like, there's something else. And Lushion was just like, no, because Lushion knew what it was. Natalie's like, no, I need to know everything. The doctor said, you know, aside from your son dying and all of his other internal organs, they're actually really healthy. So we were wondering if you thought about, you know, making him an organ donor. And Natalie had this look of, did he? It's like, you know, there's at least 12 people in this hospital waiting for organs that could definitely go and help Joey. And the thing is, the doctors are put in the worst type of positions, because this is what they have to deal with on a regular basis, of trying to convince people who aren't already signed up as organ donors. You know, it's like their family member came in and potentially will be dying unexpectedly, and now you're trying to convince them, oh yeah, even though I said that there's a slight possibility that they may live, why don't you go and think about this organ donation thing? Because we need to go and already plan for the future. And it's messed up that they have to think that way, but that's just the reality of the world. If you're not already signed up, they're gonna ask that as an option. Regardless of how cold and heartless it is, it's the reality. But Natalie, she switched it and was like, Black Lives Matter, and said, hold up. How is it that you're asking me, but no, the only way I'll even remotely consider that is if there are, how many black people? Huh? How many black people in this hospital that need an organ? Are they all white? Like, what's really going on? Because I don't want my son's organs to go to some, rich, entitled white kids or white people. The only reason why she said that was because she was looking at this as, this is a, for the most part, with the exception of him dying now, a strong, healthy black man who came into this rich part of town, sick, and they're saying they're doing everything they can to help him, but in reality, now they want his organs? Now they want his organs, and it's like, why? Are they willing to let him go and die? Because it's pretty much touch and go so that they can harvest it for people who are willing to pay? Because remember, that's the other thing. They weren't even sure about how much they were going to do afterwards because of the fact that he doesn't have insurance. Lushion was like, okay, that's all, thank you. He's like, first off, don't do that to him. That's not the doctor's fault. I'm thinking, Natalie's not wrong. Hypothetically, that could be the situation. But, Lushion said, I know a lot of people who were in the line of duty for other reasons, needed organs, and they could not get them. They died for the simple fact that they couldn't get organs. Joey, we know he's not going to die. We're going to pray for him. We're going to pray for him. We're going to stay here, be here to support him, so he's not going anywhere. But in the off chance that anything goes really wrong, you need to consider. And she was like, okay. It's like, what? Do you have somewhere else you need to be? Somewhere else you need to go? Because, you can just go. It's okay. It's really okay. I'm thinking, Lushion, you better take your butt over there to wherever Pete is. You need to go right now. This is the time that you go and do your due diligence and protect Pete, because Pete needs help. Natalie, she's trying to keep it together. Natalie's so strong. She's just like, she's internalizing all of it, because it's all saying in that she really may lose her first son, her firstborn. It's just too much for her. At the age of 17, it's crazy. And I'm still thinking, Lord, when Fawn's father comes, he's probably going to come at the wrong time. If we're even going to see that storyline play out right now, just seeing how everything's going. So Pete's hallucinating because he's telling the nurse, I'm not going to sleep. She's like, yes, you are, because they're used to this game. This is like, take your nap. We'll be here when you wake up. I'm thinking, Lord, but will he even remember any of this? Will he be here? At first, I thought it was a hallucination. Then when I saw that it was actually through his eyes, his blurry vision at this time, that Eddie is there, I was like, oh, God. I was like, no, it really is Eddie. It really is Eddie. Someone help him. It really is Eddie. And I thought we were going to see something then, but no. The last scene entailed Randall being in that box, and Rusty and his friends, they tipped the box over. And at first I was like, oh, I still don't like you, Randall, so shut up. I agree with them. Shut up, even though I don't like them either. But when they opened it up and hit him with the shovel, part of me was like, no, I did not just hit this man with the shovel. And why did the baby stop crying all of a sudden? Like, what's going on? What is going on? Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe. Man, Jesus, why did Marcy go to the hospital? This is a whole lot of weird stuff. And Eddie trying to go after Pete. I'm thinking, where is Lucian's security detail? And why, Lushion, you need to run over there instead of talking to the security. Jesus. Now someone's having